Welcome back to Tipping Point Files, the channel where we break down global crises, survival strategies, and the decisions that shape our future. Imagine this. It's a morning like any other. Coffee is brewing, you can hear kids laughing, and the city is humming with its usual routine. Then, without warning, a piercing siren splits the air. At first you freeze, just like everyone else. Is it a test? A mistake? But the wail continues, and a cold fear spreads like wildfire through the streets. Your phone buzzes with an emergency alert, and the news flashes a single chilling word: attack. In that instant, the world you know is gone. The simple comfort of daily life shatters, replaced by a raw rush of adrenaline and utter confusion. Some people run for shelter, others desperately search for loved ones. Everywhere, you see the first cracks in society beginning to show. The line between peace and panic vanishes in a heartbeat. That first siren isn't just a warning. It's the sound of everything changing. It's the beginning of a new, terrifyingly uncertain reality. The first few hours after the siren are a blur of confusion and fear. Supermarkets and gas stations are flooded with desperate crowds. Shelves are emptying in minutes as people grab whatever they can: water, canned food, batteries. Government officials appear on every screen, their faces grim as they urge calm and announce emergency measures, but their words struggle to cut through the rising tide of panic. The roads are jammed with cars as families try to flee the city, while others barricade themselves at home, hoping safety can be found behind locked doors. Rumors spread faster than facts, whispers about where the next strike might hit, about shortages, about who you can really trust. The sense of order that held society together just this morning begins to unravel. Neighbors who once exchanged friendly greetings now eye each other with suspicion. The first signs of desperation start to surface. Fights over the last can of beans, break-ins, and chaos erupting in the streets. These first 72 hours will decide who adapts and who gets left behind. In this new world, survival favors those who can think fast, act decisively, and find strength in the face of absolute fear. By the fourth day, the city's lifelines begin to snap. Delivery trucks stop coming. The last shipments of food, fuel, and medicine have vanished from store shelves. Pharmacies are shuttered, gas stations are dry, and the once bustling markets are now eerily silent. People are forced to ration what little they have, but hunger and anxiety grow with each passing hour. Hospitals, completely overwhelmed and critically undersupplied, are turning away all but the most severe cases. The sick and vulnerable are left to fend for themselves. As resources dwindle, trust in institutions starts to crumble. Government broadcasts become less frequent, and rumors of corruption and favoritism spread like a virus. Promises of aid are met with deep skepticism, and many begin to question whether help will ever truly arrive. Even your neighbors, once a source of comfort, become potential rivals. Fences go up, doors are double-bolted, and suspicion replaces the sense of community that once held the city together. Desperation breeds new dangers. Small thefts escalate into violent confrontations, and the old rules of civility fade into memory. When the shelves go empty, old rules no longer apply. In this new reality, survival depends not just on what you have, but on who you can trust, and how far you're willing to go to protect what's yours. As the second week dawns, the city's fragile order completely collapses. With police overwhelmed and emergency services stretched to their breaking point, lawlessness takes root. Gangs and opportunists seize the moment, raiding abandoned stores, looting homes, and carving out territories block by block. The familiar sound of sirens is replaced by the haunting echo of gunshots and the shouts of those desperate to survive. Curfews are announced, but few obey. The streets now belong to those willing to take the greatest risks. Ordinary citizens, who once felt secure under the protection of the law, now barricade themselves inside, clutching whatever weapons or makeshift defenses they can find. Fear becomes a constant companion. Every knock at the door is met with suspicion. Every shadow outside is a potential threat. The sense of community that once defined neighborhoods is replaced by isolation and deep mistrust. Authorities attempt to regain control, but their presence is sporadic and often met with hostility. Some neighborhoods organize their own patrols, while others fall under the sway of local strongmen or criminal groups. In this vacuum of order, power shifts to the bold and the ruthless. The city's social fabric, once so tightly woven, unravels further with each passing day. For many, hope is replaced by a single, brutal goal: survive at any cost, no matter what the world outside has become. By the third week, the city is no longer a single community, but a patchwork of isolated groups. Families, friends, and neighbors band together for safety, pooling their resources and skills. Some of these groups are built on trust and shared values, while others form out of sheer, desperate necessity. Local leaders emerge. Sometimes they're former officials, but often they're just ordinary people with the courage to organize and protect their own. These new leaders set the rules, mediate disputes, and coordinate efforts to find food, water, and medicine. Yet, not all bonds hold. Old rivalries and new grievances can tear groups apart from the inside, leading to splinter factions and bitter, dangerous feuds. The search for a community becomes a matter of life and death. Those who find strong, supportive groups are far more likely to endure, sharing the burdens and celebrating the small victories together. Others, who remain isolated or become too mistrustful, struggle alone, facing much greater risks from both the environment and other desperate survivors. In chaos, new bonds are forged, or they are broken forever. The city's future now depends on the strength of these fragile alliances. For many, the hope of rebuilding rests not on government aid or outside rescue, but on the people standing right beside them. In the ruins of the old world, community becomes the most valuable resource of all. As the month mark approaches, survival is no longer about waiting for rescue. It's about adapting to a new, harsh reality. With official supply lines completely gone, people turn to barter and black markets, trading whatever they have for food, medicine, or precious information. Skills once taken for granted, gardening, repairing things, cooking from scratch, become absolute lifelines. Makeshift markets spring up in abandoned lots, and word of mouth replaces the internet as the main source of news. Desperation is everywhere. Some risk dangerous journeys outside the city in search of supplies, while others scavenge through the ruins for anything useful. The psychological toll is immense. Anxiety, grief, and exhaustion weigh on everyone. Children grow quieter, adults seem to age overnight, and hope becomes a rare and fragile commodity. Yet, in the midst of this hardship, some find an unexpected strength, discovering a resilience, a creativity, and a raw will to endure that they never knew they had. Survival now means redefining what's possible. The old world is gone, replaced by a harsh new normal where every single day is a test. For those who adapt, there is a chance, not just to survive, but to shape what comes next in a world that has been forever changed. 30 days of collapse reveal the razor-thin line between stability and chaos, between power and helplessness. The comforts of modern life, food on the shelves, safety in the streets, trust in your neighbors, can vanish overnight, replaced by scarcity, fear, and suspicion. Those who survive are not always the strongest, but the most adaptable. People who can form alliances, learn new skills, and face each day with clear eyes and a steady resolve. This scenario exposes the weakness of relying solely on distant institutions or a stockpile of supplies. It highlights the incredible strength found in community, in flexibility, and in mental resilience. For you, our viewers, the lesson is clear. Readiness isn't just about stockpiling goods. It's about preparing your mind, your relationships, and your skills for the unexpected. The world can change in a single moment, and the decisions you make today will shape your fate tomorrow. Don't wait for disaster to test your limits. Start building your resilience now. The next crisis could be closer than you think. Are you ready? Thanks for watching Tipping Point Files. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next breakdown. Stay safe and stay prepared.